Hello and welcome to the Horsemanship and Mindset podcast with your host, Kimberly Dunn of Idlewild Horsemanship and Mindset Coaching. This podcast is here to bring you the very best in tips, tricks, and advice to help you better understand yourself, your mindset, and your horse, because your horsemanship starts with you. Let's go. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Horsemanship and Mindset podcast. As always, I'm delighted to have you here. I hope that you have been having a wonderful week. And I hope last week's episode resonated with you. So I have had a very, very busy couple of days. I've been basically doing like a little bit of a tour of of the country, teaching. So doing lessons, and then on Saturday I taught a clinic for a lovely riding club, which was actually really cool because there was such a variety of horses in this clinic. I had everything from like a little Welsh section A to Dartmoor ponies to cobs to thoroughbreds to an Oldenburg, a big Irish draft horse. Like there was such a variety. It was really, really cool. I love it when that happens. I wish I could like line every single one of the clinic participants up so we could see the variety in size and shape and temperament of these horses. They were all lovely. So yeah, and then I kind of drove back up the country, and as I drove back up, I taught a couple of lessons, and yeah, it's been really awesome. It's been a very horsey couple of days, and as always, with these things, it's also been quite inspiring as well. And honestly, I learn as much from the clinic participants and lesson clients as I do from as they hopefully do from me. There's always something to kind of sharpen me up or make me think, oh yeah, maybe we need to look at this a different way, or whether it's handling different people or horses showing different things popping up, or yeah, it's always a lot of fun. And yeah, it was good, tiring but also very good. Anyway, so that leads me into today's episode and what we're going to be talking about. So, this week's episode, we are looking at micromanaging. So, I want you to have a think about if you feel like you have to control every single step, every single movement that your horse takes. Do you find yourself constantly correcting, adjusting, or overthinking every little thing that they do, every step they take, every ear they flick in a certain direction? And if you do, you might find yourself finishing a ride or a training session with your horse feeling exhausted or totally frazzled. And this isn't because of your horse, it's because of your own brain. And the thing is, this isn't about your riding ability or your training ability. It's about control and safety and your nervous system. Now, I'm talking about this because I noticed it popping up with people over the last couple of days. And I could see it, obviously, like when I was teaching in groups or just, seeing general people around their yards and things, like watching how people handle their horses. And there's a lot of, holding the horse and holding their lead rope like directly under their chin and kind of rattling the lead rope all the time, or getting upset if the horse shifts weight or looks off in another direction. And the old chestnut that always comes up, there's always somebody that says this. It's like, oh, they just won't focus on me, they're just not listening to me. And I have done a podcast episode on this before of like, look, it's not about them paying attention to you or whether they're looking at you or not. Like, they are allowed to look around. You are allowed to let your horse like stand and look around, and you don't have to be holding them under their chin. Like, you can actually have a loose rope. Having a looser rope letting your horse look at things doesn't mean a disaster is going to happen. Anyway, I digress. But what micromanaging actually can look like in others as well. So that's kind of one example of kind of trying to micromanage how your horse feels, where they're looking, etc. You might find it's constantly adjusting your reins if you're on board, your legs, your position. It might be not allowing your horse to make any mistakes. They are not allowed to do that. They know better. They must do it like this. You might find it's over cueing or repeating aids. So you're not actually giving your horse space to respond. Now, this over cueing, you see it a lot in like lunging, where someone will be constantly waving the whip at the horse. The horse is going, but you're still waving the whip at the horse. And then what happens? Your horse then switches off to the cue that you're using because it doesn't mean anything anymore. And it's the same when you're on board. If your horse is going, like, you're allowed to let go. You don't have to carry them through every single stride that they take. You can let go. You can relax. You don't have to be on all the time, because again, then you get these cues that you're giving them. They just don't mean anything anymore. It might mean that you're riding in your head instead of your body. So in your head, you're like 25 steps ahead, but you're not actually in the moment with them. It might be that you're struggling to leave them alone. So again, it's always asking, it's always on, it's always kind of poking or moving the lead rope or getting them, they must stand still or they must look in a certain direction. And it's that need to have every single thing with your horse absolutely perfect before you can relax. And it probably feels like you are being a good, responsible rider, but actually what's happening is you're gripping and you're kind of really holding on, like, and quite literally that can be, for control. So let's look at why this happens, because when you understand why it happens, we've talked about like how it can happen and what that can look like, but now we need to talk about why it's going on, because then that's going to allow you to start to change it a little bit. Sorry, I'm just distracted because I'm looking at my aloe vera plant. It doesn't look very good. I think I've overwatered it. There's a little side note for you that means absolutely nothing, but oh god damn it, I'm a bit of a bugger with what are they called, succulents. I'm not very good with succulents. Totally by the by, very easily distracted. But to be fair to myself, my aloe vera plant is right next to my laptop and it's looking at me. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, aloe vera plant. Hopefully I can save it. I need to start watering it. Would be good. Anyway, what a digression. I'm just checking that you're paying attention and you've not switched off. Okay, so let's look at why we micromanage. So it's not random. It's protection. It's your nervous system and your subconscious mind giving you a poke and trying to kind of bring in some control, because that is what it thinks will help you to feel safe. Now, this might be coming up because you fear things going wrong. So you might have had a past experience. You might have had a fall. You might have had something happen on the ground where a horse has run into you or pushed you over or kicked you or something. Or you've seen something like that happen. It also might be, you're worried about being embarrassed. You might find that you feel that pressure to get it right and get everything right all the time, because you don't want to ruin, quote unquote, your horse. That's a very classic one that I hear a lot is, oh, I don't want to ruin the horse. I don't want to wreck their training or any of that stuff. Or it might just be that you don't trust yourself to handle different situations, or you don't trust your horse. Another really common one. Now, the thing is when you have that going on, then your body doesn't feel safe. And when your body doesn't feel safe, that's where you're trying to control even more. And the thing is when this micromanaging comes in, it's high anxiety in a, big Karen high-vis jacket. And what happens then when we micromanage our horses in this way, when we're always holding on, where we're always adjusting things, where we're always just using aids and nothing's happening, but we're still piling them on, your horse then becomes quote unquote dull or switched off. Your horse just stops responding because they're like, there's all this noise, but nothing's actually happening. They don't actually mean anything by this. And so they just don't respond anymore. Or you get the opposite where because you're like, constantly changing and moving things and you've got that kind of nervous energy, your horse then becomes even more tense and reactive, which then makes you even more micromanaging. Or your horse just becomes totally confused because you're sending too many signals all over the place. None of them are consistent. None of them are black and white. Your horse becomes even more confused. Then your horse gets frustrated and becomes all kind of like overstimulated. And again, there you get that kind of cycle of behavior. But all of those things are because of this micromanaging. And then what happens for you as the micromanager, you end up frustrated because you're like, why aren't they listening to me? Why won't they focus on me? Why are they looking everywhere else instead of me? You become exhausted and then you're stuck in that overthinking because the more you're micromanaging, the more confusion is happening or the dullness or the switched off or the tense or reactiveness is happening from your horse. And the less actual true communication you are having with your horse. So you're trying to communicate more, but the communication is breaking down because there's too much noise for your horse. And so actually it breaks things down between you both. And this is where it's holding you back. So you have that blockage that's happening. You have the blockage in feel. You have the blockage in trust. You have the blockage in flow. And then, of course, your confidence in you, your confidence in your horse, and then your horse's confidence in you as well as their partner. You cannot build trust while you are gripping all the time for control. And I mean that in a literal sense as well. And you having confidence in you ultimately does not come from controlling everything. It comes from being able to have that space of pause, of letting go, of not hanging on, and from knowing that in that space, you can handle whatever happens. You have got this. You can handle it. And it's in that space that you can actually take a breath, that you can regulate your nervous system, that your horse can do the same, that you can allow things to happen. So here's some ways that we can start shifting this. Because obviously you want to know that. You're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, yeah, I'm that person. Oh my God, yeah, that's me. So how do I change it? Here's how you change it. So step one is awareness. So here you've probably just listening to this, you've probably thought of a few things that kind of resonate with you. So being aware of it, noticing where you are maybe overdoing things, where you're overthinking things, where you're overcueing all the time. And when this happens, I don't want you to get frustrated with yourself. I don't want you to berate yourself. Don't judge yourself. Just notice it. Just notice that it's happening. That's the first step. And then step two, start to think about pausing and breathing. You're allowing yourself a bit of space here. So take some regulation for a moment. So that might be breathe. It might be have a little sing song. It might be notice what's around you. Notice the birds. Notice what you can hear. Notice what you can see. Notice what you can feel. Tap into your senses. Come back into your body. And then step three, do less. Oh my goodness, do less. How can we possibly do that? So ask yourself, what happens if I don't correct that immediately? What happens if I allow my horse to look at something? What happens if I loosen my hold on the lead rope, on the reins? What will happen if I just do that for a second? Allow your horse some space. Allow your horse some time to respond. Okay? They're not immediately going to bolt off. They're not going to immediately stand on you or kick you in the head. Just allow them a bit of space. Step 4, build trust in layers. So it is in those small moments of release, those small moments of taking a chance, of allowing yourself to let go, of allowing things to be good enough in that moment, rather than striving for protection or perfection. Rather than striving for perfection, which I guess is also striving for protection. Just allowing. And in those small little steps, the noticing, the breathing, the having a bit of space, that's going to start to build a bit of trust. Okay. Trust in yourself that you can let go and that the world's not going to end. And your horse to trust you, because then you're not hanging on to them all the time. Step 5, shift your identity. So you're shifting from, I need to control everything. If I don't control everything, the world will end. Shift that to, do you know what? I trust myself. I trust that I am capable to respond and handle anything that happens. Start to shift into that identity. So I hope that was helpful, because, and you might have listened to this and felt a bit like, oh, that's me. And if you have, yeah, I really hope this was helpful, because that micromanaging, that kind of energy is not going to make you a better rider. It's not going to make you a better horse person. It's not going to make you a better human. What will is learning when to let go, learning that it's safe to not be hanging on. It's safe to just stop and take a breath. It's safe to loosen your hold on things, literally and figuratively. It's safe to not keep doing and asking. It's safe to allow a bit of space. And here's me allowing a bit of space now for that to land. And honestly, this is the exact work that we really go deep on in the Enlightened Equestrian program, because this isn't just about, your riding. It's not about what happens when you tack up and off you go. It is about your mindset. It's about your nervous system, and it's about how safe you feel in yourself and with your horse. So too many people don't think outside of getting on your horse. Again, I was kind of reminded of this over the last couple of days, So commonly we just think, I'm just going to get on my horse and I should just get on with it. When actually, no, do a bit of groundwork, feel out your horse first. Like, it's okay to listen to yourself. It's okay to notice your horse and listen to them. And we really get into understanding all of that in the program. So if you've been recognizing yourself in what I've talked about, if you're tired of overthinking, if you're tired of over controlling and then still feeling lost, if you're not enjoying your rides anymore the way that you would really want to, or any time with your horse at all for that matter, the enrollment for the April cohort of the Enlightened Equestrian program is open now. So the Enlightened Equestrian program is something I've been running for years now, and usually I do it one-to-one, but every now and then I open it up for a group cohort. The group cohort is priced a little lower than the one-to-one. So if you've kind of been on the fence because of finances, this is something you'll want to look into. And there is a PayPal pay later, I cannot get my words out, option as well. So you can split the payment, you can pay later, do whatever you want via PayPal. So I'm trying to make this as accessible as possible, because this program, when I say it is life-changing and transformational, I'm not exaggerating. It really is. So this is your opportunity now to take advantage of that. So this is the place where you are going to rebuild that trust, that confidence, and that connection for yourself and your horse properly from the ground up. You're building on those foundations from the inside out, from the ground up, from all the places where it actually matters. Now, you can find the details in the link in my bio on all of the socials. You can drop me a message. I'll put my email below, and I'm also going to put a link to the program. So you can click on that link. You can check out the program. You'll scroll to the bottom and you can see where you can sign up, or you can book a call with me to discuss any questions you have. And I would just, I'd love you to dive in if this is you and you're listening and you're like, yeah, oh my God, I need something like that. It's an online horsemanship curriculum that we go through. You get weekly calls, you get WhatsApp support, all there to help you totally transform your mindset, your confidence, and your relationship with your horse. It's just amazing and I love it so much. Anywho, that's all from me for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope it was helpful. If you know somebody who's a little micromanager, send this to them because it's going to help them too. And I will see you in another episode next week. Over and out.